How to double your money in a money market fund investment, or it can be treasury bills, or it can be treasury bonds or fixed investment funds. So the question is, how can you double your money? That's the question. Me saying money market fund is for the sake of the, explaining my point. Now, how do you double your money in that investment? Let me just have it on the board. By the way, I love writing because they say if you think about it, you ink it. That's why I also encourage you, if you think about it, put a comment on the comment section. Tell me, how long did it take you to double your cash? Let me tell you one secret. When we say double your cash, in other words, we are saying, how do you break even? Okay, doubling your cash in kind of breaking even. See, to double your cash, double your investment, is simply asking, when you do what? Break even. What does break even mean? Break even is recouping. To recoup is to get back your initial investment. How do you do that? So how do you double your money? To double also simply means to 2x your money. You invest 100,000, you make it times 2, you get 200K. How do you get here? Are we together? Now, when we say how do you double this money, it can also simply mean how do you double the returns of your investment. For instance, let's say you have invested 100K, are we together, which gives you approximately 1K a month as a return, as an investment, say from a money market fund. Then how do you take this 1K to 2K? Simple. For you to double the returns, or for you to double the output, are you together, to 2x output, you also need to 2x the what? The input. Are we together? Well, if you'd like to double the output without doubling the input, two things. There's only two ways how you can achieve that. Number one is either you do what? You invest more, you pump in more money into that, or number two, miracle. Are you together? Those are the only two things. I do not know how miracle works. I believe in miracles, true, but I cannot tell you, hey, let's do this, we'll get a miracle. Are we together? Unless I tell you, let's pray and believe. Jesus Christ said, the book of Matthew, that if you have the faith as little as whatever, you can tell that, mountain do what? Now, point is, these are the only two ways how you can double the output without doubling the how you can double the output is either invest more or a miracle happens. You do nothing, but tomorrow morning you get 2x in your money out there. But I said hope is never a strategy. You have to be intentional. Now, let's go back to our topic. How do you double your money in a money market fund? First of all, the more money you need to double, of course, the more stress that you will have, isn't it? I always tell people that when you have more money, it means that you also have more things to think about, because to whom much is given, yes, thank you, much is expected. Now, for me to help you to how to go ahead in doubling your cash, there is something called the rule of 72. The rule of 72. What does the rule of 72 mean? This is a simple formula I'm going to give you today that will be helping you a lot in understanding when you shall do what? Get back your money. Now, the rule of 72 simply means that if you take any interest given, are we together? And no, when you take 72 divided by the any interest given, whichever the number that you get, it's the number of years that you will need for you to do what? To double your cash. For example, if you go and get an MMF, when I say MMF, take this and truncate it into your own investments. It can be rentals. For example, here, if I ask a question, how many knows how much the real estate gives you in terms of increment per year? Real estate usually gives you as little as 5% to 7% increment, unless a crazy thing happens in that particular area, okay? Now, I will explain this. See, let's say an MMF that you're getting yourself into gives you, say, 10% per annum. People tend to ask me, is it per annum? Please, investment is always quoted per annum, meaning per year. If the MMF is giving you 10% per year or per annum, what you do, you take the 72, which is the magical. I know you'll be like, we have people who are so smart here. They will ask me, hey, why 72? I don't know why 72. That is not really bother. Take 72, divide by 10. What do you get? 7.2. Do you know what that means? It means 7.2 years. Are we together? That means if you take your 100K, invest it in a money market fund, which is giving you 10%, it will take you 7.2 years to double your cash to 200K. 200K without you doing anything. You take your 100K right now. This is year 2025. You take 100K, you throw it in a money market fund, then you lock there. Forget about it. Never put any other money there. You go do your things. 2032, you're going to have yourself 200,000. Simply means that you have actually earned the 200,000 or rather 100,000 as a full interest. So if you go get that money back, you're good to go. This is called the rule of 72. That is how you double your cash. Now, the question is, this is also witnessed in the industry of real estate. Now, for example, you have ever heard of people saying who are in the real estate that if you invest your money, it takes you approximately 10 to 13 years for you to do what? To break even, okay? To get back your money. Remember I said break even is to recoup back your money, meaning to get back the money you invested. For example, here you invested 100K. It has taken you 7.2 years to get back the 100K. So you'll have the 100K you invested and a new kid in town, which is the new 100K. Are we together? Now, even when it comes to the real estate, it takes approximately 10 to 13 years. Even if you put 100 million, it will take you approximately this period of time. Probably, let's say, now, before I even say that probably, now there's something I want you to look at this. So the bigger the interest or the bigger the return that you're having, the shorter the period. For instance, we've said the 10% will give you or will take you 7.2 years for you to double the cash. But if they're giving you 12%, you know, that would be 72 divided by 12. Isn't it 6? Yes, it is 6. 6 multiplied by 12 will give you 72. Okay, now it means that you take yourself or you need yourself 6 years to do that. What if you go out there and invest like the special funds that you're having right now? There are some special funds I saw 29%. Okay, don't ask me which ones are they here because I won't answer you that. That's a premium service. So if you need those services, you can get my number. Contact me inbox. I'll be able to take you through what are these special funds and how are they giving 29% and what have you. And are they even good in the first place to invest? So you take your 72 divided by 29. I mean, I don't have a calculator here with me, but let me grab my phone here and calculate. See, if you take 72 divided by 29, how long will it take you to actually double your money? Or rather, yeah, sure, double your money divided by 29. It takes you 2.5 years. 2.5 years because it's 2.48%, or rather 2.48, just give it approximately 2.5 years to simply double your money. So if you put your 100 mic there, then it give you that particular cash within a period of time. Sounds interesting, isn't it? Yes, because this is exactly how you actually double your cash. And perhaps you might ask yourself, okay, what if I decide to invest that money, but I'm keeping pumping in your cash? There are advantage and there are disadvantage of that. Let's start with, of course, disadvantage and end with advantage. What happens if you put, say, 100K as your initial investment in that particular investment, which is giving you, say, approximately 10%, which of course we saw it requires you 7.2 years to double back your money or to recoup your investment. Now, what happens is that what if you don't want to rely on simply investing that 100K and then the next 7 years you are not doing anything? What if you want to be pumping in, say, like 10K per month, 10K, say, monthly? So what happens? You are shifting your bar. That is I said this. Let me start with the disadvantage. So what happened is that you are shifting what? You are shifting your bar. Okay, for example, if you invest 100K without doing anything else, you already know from here, year 1, all the way to year 7. Let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then our 7, and another 0.2 here. Now, what happens the moment you put your 100K at the beginning? You don't add anything, you already know, you are 100% sure. If the status quo remains, meaning if the 10% remains to be given each and every year, you only need 7.2 years to recoup back your cash. So your bar is fixed at 7.2. The moment you're pumping in more 10,000, it means your bar has shifted because you have no longer invested 100K. Now you have 110K. And of course, it means you need a little bit of time, assuming the interest is not growing. You know, you can have you ever heard of people complaining about, the kids, how can I say this? There's a certain joke, I usually see it on social media. you find that the kids, then they give, let's say, electricity bill, they give it a very big kid has grown up. Then they say transport costs, the kid has grown up. And then they say mortgages and what have you, the kids have actually grown up, the groceries and what have you. But the small kid here, that the salary, the salary kid is not growing up. It's not catching up with its peers. So you find the peers are looking at the salary like this. I don't know. You guys, you can just figure out what I'm trying to say here. So what happens is that you're shifting the bar. And when you're shifting the bar, of course, it's a disadvantage because it's no longer 7.2 years. Your pumping in is no longer about that period of time because you're pumping in. Well, it's going to be 7.2 years, but a little bit, how can I say this? It still remains, 7.2 years will remain, but you'll get it at different times. For example, the period remains constant. This is a very tricky way of presenting this one. It is still, because the 10% still remains. Even if you put another 100,000 here to be 200, you still need 7.2 years. But it requires you to do what? To kind of understand something like, hey, guess here, it's the same period, but shifted with the same compartment. It's like taking 7.2 here, the same size, you shift it to different places, shift it, you shift it, you shift. But now the point here is that you're not putting this money at once. No, you're actually putting in. The moment you put a new fresh 10,000, that 10,000 needs 7.2 years for it to get back another 10,000. Did you get what I'm saying? Let's say this month you add 10,000, you have 110K. Are we together? So you have, say you started with 100K. That 100K has its own 7.2 years. Then another fresh 10K has 7.2. I don't mean like it will be 15 years. No, it will still be that period of. So what happens if you keep on adding, you're kind of shifting your bar in terms of when you're going to double back your cash. Now, that is the disadvantage. The advantage is you would definitely fatten the cow at a higher rate. You're actually going to end up with a huge chunk of cash. Because let's say you're going to take this basket as an accumulation basket. You're going to go ahead and do what? You're going to make more money as the time goes by because you've actually pumped in more money. And of course, I don't think it's decent. You just take 100,000, put it out there, forget about it for 7.2 years. And for God's sake, if you decide to be setting aside something little, for that period of 7.2 years, you're going to get yourself something bigger. So, well, sure. I mean, if you just want to take let's say, this doubling your money target works well with the people who have money. Well, you call them wealthy, call them rich, call them whichever, or are advantaged. Sure, that works with them. There's somebody who can actually be going for return. Like I had a client from the US. He's a Kenyan. He told me, you know what, Joseph, I've sold a house in the US, and then I would like to put my money somewhere where it's actually going for a longer period of time. He went for a bond like for 17 years. He put that money out there. Why? Because, he has the cash. That cash was okay. And of course, he didn't want to use that money, may say, in doing other things. For God's sake, he had sold his own house. So you can put it out there. Let's say you do not have that cash and you want to accumulate it before you reach to levels of now leveraging on the more money that you have, then you can actually use this formula of pumping in more money as you look forward into doubling your cash. And say you're in accumulation phase, don't concentrate much on doubling your cash, but indeed reaching that particular target that you need. Then now after that, you can leverage on making more cash in future. Wow. Hope I've made justice on that video. Go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe. And if you need my services in one way or the other, grab that number of mine. Let's talk business. And see you in the next one. I'm exhausted. Thank you very much, guys.